And this is why I implored you. I was telling people about our first conversation when we were talking about when you were telling me about the PGA stuff. And I think the tone that I had right away with you was like, this is stupid, man. I was like, I don't like this. You're turning my fantasy game into a reality, and I want to avoid reality as much as possible. So explain to my viewers, it's a question that we just had. Explain to them that that's just not the case. We're not going to be losing Golden. Everything is in addition to, correct?
So let's go back to the origin story, right? Awesome. So there's a lot of stuff that I can't talk about yet, but that we will talk about and soon, right? And a lot of the crypticness of this, I know people want more and I want to give more, but a lot of the reason that we're doing this the way we are, because if you guys are involved in tech at all, the ordering of parts, getting parts built and delivered, it's madness right now. Mm-hmm. So a reason we're trying to do this in a way we are is just because we're just trying to thread the needle in a really difficult, complicated time when it comes to acquiring things. On the development side, things are going well. But your question about what this game will be, we were approached by the PGA Tour, the agency that reps the PGA Tour at a trade show about 3 years ago. And my first response to that was, there's no goddamn way. There's no way. This will not work out. It was not no that we don't want to. It was, it's not going to happen. And over the course of a couple of years, you have some very high intensity conversations. And I think the one thing that was true to myself, to Elaine Hodgson, obviously our owner, to Don when he was still here, is we are going to be who we are. And we want the PGA Tour and PGA Tour courses to fit in. The cool part of that conversation is they were not only okay with that, that is why they approached us in the first place. For the people watching this and for yourself, they like our edge. We have an edge. We're talking to other companies outside the tour who are going to be in the tour game. I'll spill the beans a little bit here. Travis Matthews. We're going to have Travis Matthews close in our game. Yeah, that's why I got some free shit. Yes. So people really, we are a commodity, and that's cool. Like, I believe that, but of course I'm going to believe that. I'm paid to believe that, but I do believe it too, because I'm a Golden Tee lifer. So that is not to be the way that this game is made. It's going to be a graceful integration. It's look, the most popular questions I've gotten over 13 years here is like, when are you going to have real courses? And I understand there's a group of audience and probably a lot of diehards who are watching this that may not be their thing. That's fine. We're still going to continue to create awesome, weird, elaborate things, maybe take more chances now. We're going to do, the goal is not to create a game for one player. The goal is this platform or this iteration of Golden Tee is to provide an options and really grow our audience. And that's really been the goal all along. Nothing that we're doing now is going to change. We're just going to continue to add on things that we've been talking about for a while.
That's fantastic. Now, I know this is probably not something you're going to release, but I got to see some of the technical specs of it. And on that line alone, I think you guys are using just the right parts. They're not, I mean, you could have gone in and got maybe a level below, but I think you use just the right parts where the happy medium is met, where the price isn't going to go up as much as anybody's thinking, but your abilities should be there. The technical aptitude is going to be there for your developers to really have free reign. And on that line, I mean, how does somebody like Jim Z approach this? And how is he excited the fact, okay, so now he's got PGA courses. So some of the edge is taken off of him to create everything, right? Does that mean he's going to go buck wild and come up with the Danny Boy on the Moon course? Like, is he going to get crazy like that for these?
You know what's funny? I remember when this deal was a little bit more serious and I went into Jim Z's office and again, it was different back then. You go back 2 years, my role at IT was a little bit different, but Jim and I have always had great rapport. And I was really anxious to get his thoughts. Like, for a guy that's made every Golden Tee course with the exception of a handful of holes, like, this is a change. And his eyes lit up and he was thrilled. He was thrilled because, his output is going to go up. Like he's creating the same number of courses and then going to lean into these courses even more. And I know that doesn't make sense now, and it may not even make sense this year, but he's already on to the next iteration. He's on to the next update of PGA Tour, if that makes sense. I mean, he is always way, way ahead of the entire division. So his excitement was validity that we were doing the right thing. But absolutely, like in terms of what he's doing, I know where the next batch of courses are going to be. And look, our timelines are all, I say our timelines, the Golden Tee timeline is about to change dramatically, which it should.
Yeah,
something
I
like
think,
this.
Honestly,
he's going to lean into that.
I think it's something that was due for you guys
to
change the timeline. Now, it's something I brought up on the streams. This is just personal opinion, but I know companies, technology companies that are, I mean, a lot of them are moving more to the subscription-based model, right? If you look at your Office line of products, you can't really buy a disc anymore and install Office and have 2016 Office for the next 4 years. They've gone to a subscription model. I can see how that can line up with you guys so well because, as you've told me in the past, making the PGA courses is not nearly as complex as making the courses that Jim Z designed.
Yeah.
Correct? So, I mean, with technology changing,
we are absolutely heading that way.
So does that mean in the future that we could see, let's say, and I just, PGA, I don't know if you guys have a license for this at all. This is just a guess. But are we going to see somewhere down the line that, hey, the PGA course of PGA championships at True North this year. So for that week of that tournament, there's going to be an update pushed out with True North on it that we're going to play that as an event mode for the week or have some sort of special event that lines up.
So to be clear, the days of USB update sticks are numbered. Okay, good. Thank God. And that's exciting. And
wait, did you guys think that was happening this year? Is that why people got the boxes with nothing in it this year?
No. This is still something we're gonna figure out now when we get beyond everything else. But yeah, that's actually pretty funny. No, that I wish I could say that was why. Another fun IT avenue, but no. Yes, we are going to go more towards a subscription model. And let me say, from a technical standpoint, I really never, ever, ever want to be a company again that delivers you a game. It's launch day, and maybe you get a couple of things along the way, but that game is done and for the next year. What you're going to see over the course of the next 18 months is an update that delivers you content always, right?
Awesome.
There's features involved. Like one of the primary features that you'll see over the next probably 4 to 6 weeks is really going to set the table for a ton of this stuff. And so it's not just going to be one thing that does it, but when you look at the way mobile really provides entertainment for customers, if you play Call of Duty, if you play whatever you play, again, it's archaic, right? So from a course standpoint, and here's the other thing, right? You add 3 PGA Tour courses in a year, coupled with our what we're doing now with Remastered, we have an arsenal of things that we're going to be able to deliver.
I mean, that's 10 courses right off the bat.
All these things at once.
Is that? I mean,
absolutely. So
there we go.
That is the plan. That's what we're working on now. So that is the plan. And so I think that part's exciting because the expectations of the customer have obviously changed. So we have to change along with it.
And I know, and I can speak to this personally. I know what you're going through, the heart of it, because I'm sitting there talking with Josh, you and Kevin, and when we were in the room, in the test room, you had a vendor, an old school vendor come in. And I mean, it took all that I had to not be like, what the hell? Dude, this isn't 1980, man. We're not putting quarters in the damn machine anymore. Get with the times or get out. I know you guys got to have that same thought to tell a lot of these vendors that.
Well, look, it is an old school industry, but there's a mix of both young and progressive people, and then people that have been around a while. So I think our biggest thing is, that if that mindset exists, we have to provide comfort for it. And, the one thing about that exercise that was valuable, no matter the age or the gender or experience in the industry, people walked into that room and they said, holy shit, right? Collectively, holy shit. That's not to say they didn't say they had issues or they didn't have. It did. So unless you take it on a camera phone, and post it on the internet. In which
And
case,
just so
maybe
you guys know ahead of time, that was not me. I did not leak any photos. I did not take any photos that day.
No. And look, I don't really care. Like, I mean, look, I get it. Like, this is the way it's going to be when you're opening yourself up to something like that, no matter what you have people say or sign. We have a trailer coming out that'll be a specific cabinet trailer that I think will show it obviously in a much better light. Would I have liked that to have been the reveal? Of course. But to be honest, to have things have gone the way they have in terms of us being able to deliver this the way we have, it's been a minor miracle. The fact that we haven't had things like this pop up earlier. So that's okay. But as I said, when we saw that image show up, and it's the worst damn image you could possibly have, allow us to deliver this thing in a way that, whether you like it or not, and then make up your decision. Really, ultimately play the dang thing first, and then
exactly
figure out. And then any commentary is fair game, as always.
Now, so what? Now, is there any new tech that we haven't told anybody about with this that you can tell to my viewers? Stuff that I'm dying. There's some things that I'm dying to say, and it has nothing to do really with the actual Golden Tee aspect of this. And it's something I told you, and I bet you were baffled when I mentioned this being what excites me the most.
Well, look, I think I'll give a little tidbit. NFC.
Okay.
We wanted to do something with the cell phone and with NFC cards before a pandemic hit. Okay, our goal was to do something, but to completely rewrite and outsource a company to completely redo the way that you can check in, I think is integral, right? This year for us is about kind of establishing a foundation. This is a long play. This is a long-term deal with the PGA Tour. This is a 10-year thing.
Okay.
So at the core of this, when I read feedback, and it could be more, by the way, one of the things the PGA Tour said, like, hey, we're looking for something long and stable, and you guys are like the epitome, like that is you. That's what you do. So that's exciting. But for us, then it's like, well, we need to have something that's going to be future-proof. Player cards, mag stripes, they're dead and going away.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the ability to log in and do some other things, and this is a bit of a teaser and probably more than I thought I was going to say, but I want to say it anyways. We really want to change the way that you can walk up to a game and get into a game and pay for a game and then really lean into the experience itself. So a lot of the tech that you're going to see, it's not just going to be like login devices, but at the start, it's to really ease that moment where you're over the cabinet, you're trying to do it. If you're played with 3 or 4 people, it can be a really clunky process, especially with people who don't regularly play.
There. But I know we're getting some questions on here. Now, one of the things we were discussing earlier, what kind of say will PGA actually have in, I mean, not day-to-day operations, but okay, here's the perfect example. I could easily see them saying, hey, we don't want your guys putting with the ball. We don't want your weed shirts all over it. That isn't fit our image. Now, for me, it's a no-brainer. You drop that crap right away. Okay, cool. But what other things do they have? I mean, people are thinking that, they're not going to allow their courses to be shot like Golden Tee courses. Now, I know the ones that I played, they're going to shoot just like Golden Tee courses. I mean, we're going to pump in 30s or better on those. I'm pretty much right away. I mean, it's true. We played casual, no tees and no balls, and we were right at that point. We could have done it then. So where is their line that they have to say and what goes on with Golden Tee?
Yeah, it's a great question. And when we were negotiating this deal, I will give a lot of this credit to Elaine. Frankly, we had a certain way that we want to protect our creative style. Mm-hmm. And Elaine, in some of these meetings with, you're talking with massive people at the tour, was established that before we had even a chance to, which I really appreciate. So yes, do we have to maybe hone things in a little bit? A little bit, but not much. They don't want to tell us what to do. I think that was the really cool thing. They want us to be ourselves. They want the weird. They want the wacky. They want our audience to enjoy this. They want, yes. And do we have to, I'm telling you, there's things that bother me about this game that we're going to clean up. The names on leaderboards, frankly, are, outrageous, and we're going to clean that up. I like people to be themselves and be creative. Some of that stuff absolutely drives me insane. And
are you making me pull? Are you going to pull the mouth off the leaderboard? Will the mouth have to be removed?
That's great.
Okay.
No. That's not. So when we say we're going to probably put the governor in, these are like, man, they're not going to tell us what to do or what to make or how to make it. They're going to let us pick what PGA Tour courses we want in. They're going to let us do the features. Where I think it's really exciting is how can we integrate this stuff, and then they want to know how they can support us. This was a massive negotiation, and the reason it was massive is because it had to feel right.
Mm-hmm.
It had to feel right. When I didn't think this would work, I went in with all those same hesitations that maybe you have or other people have. Is this gonna truly be a relationship where we can be ourselves and add this element of realness into it, and it's gonna mesh? And we took 18 months to make sure that it would. That's how long it took. And the fact of the matter is, we've reached that point. So, look, we're still early on in this thing, right? We haven't launched the game yet. But as of what we've done with now, the tour have been unbelievable partners. You're going to see the fun and the wacky. And yes, there's some things that we probably have to hold on. Absolutely. But that's okay. We're not going to change who we are. They don't want to change who we are. They want to add on to what we've built.
Understood. Great. Now with PGA, to me, there's a natural progression going back to world availability again. And so we have overseas. Now, where are we at on that process that we see it going to back to the UK again? Because some of my fondest memories, I still crack jokes with the guy of playing with an Australian at World Championships in 2008. Like, I mean, those things are the memories that I miss that we don't see as much now. We're heading back that route, I'm hoping.
Yes. The when and the where is still up in the air. And frankly, we have to consume ourselves with satisfying the United States, North America, really, because Canada's been a great location, great partners of ours when you look at the players and operators. But when we can get beyond that, we're already working on that. And that's actually when we're talking with the PGA Tour, they are looking at this saying, hey, look, the PGA Tour is very global. We can help you here. We know where we're big. The PGA Tour name attached to this is going to have a huge cachet. And obviously, in a lot of those locations you mentioned, Golden Tee has a pretty big cachet itself. So there's a long-term vision to really bring this in places. It's been before and not been before. And look, Mark, you and I have talked about this a bit.
Yes.
I know you're excited about the prospects. I'm thrilled about it. If we didn't have this giant stack of damn papers to get through, it's not at the bottom of the stack. It's in the middle, but it's coming. It's a matter of time. And again, you talk about the PGA Tour's quote unquote value, tremendous value in this arena for sure.
Oh yeah, and I like I said, people will sit here thinking that I'm trying to ride on the coattails or swing on the sack a little bit, but it really has nothing to do with what I can see the viability of it. I mean, just the fact that you mentioned NFC, those two things, that and the coin-op industry. I mean, you guys were a coin-op industry, a major part of it for the last 30 years. The NFC flies dead in the face of what coin-op means. And it's awesome. I love it. I think that might be the biggest thing.
I went into NFC thinking that this was something that was somewhat normal, right? You use, maybe you don't, but we're going to teach how to do it. But maybe you use it on your phone, Apple Pay, Google Play. Maybe you have a credit card that's NFC. You use it at the gas station, wherever.
Yep.
We're going to have to teach people how to do this, and we're going to do that. But it's going to be so much easier, man. You're going to download your card to your phone. Yep. You're never going to have to do anything other than put it on the cabinet. It's going to be friggin' awesome.
Now, how much have you got to actually use that yet?
Yeah.
How much is that ready to go? You got to test and play with.
It is close. It is close. They're still finishing up some final integration pieces. The back end on that from a server standpoint, preparing it for places like Canada and beyond. I mean, it's complicated, but yes, no, we've done some of it. Obviously, that's things we're going to hit hard over the next 6 to 8 weeks to make sure. But it is one of those things. It's kind of much different than, say, a game. Up, thumbs down. Does it work? Does you know what I mean?
No, yeah. So that's got integral parts of it. I mean, and I think one of the things
we have to beat on
about, you wanted to log in, pay, and do everything in one step. And that's typically not how NFC has worked, but hopefully you guys get to actually have somebody write the app that will be able to do the things that you have.
Yeah, there's no doubt. This launch is going to take a lot out of us, and then there's a list of things. It's like a scroll that we need to get to too. But with NFC, with the touch, and I brought up the touchscreen. People could see it on that picture anyway. We got a long list of things we want to do. I do want to bring up one thing though, Mark, which is important, and I know something that was talked about a lot on social media, which is kind of the status of the current platform, home games, everything else. Look, it's not going away. When we launch PGA Tour, it's going to be integrated right now with the game that you're playing. That will not be
physically has to, though.
as
That's
it
the
is
thing.
forever.
It has to right now.
It absolutely
people don't understand
has to.
that it has to. We can't. I mean, you don't.
We are doing 5 years of updates.
Okay, so we're looking at bare minimum 2026. Whether that's releases whether supply chain issues cause you to 2027. We're looking at the home editions to be viable till then, and then on. So that brings
Events,
you along with
everything else.
That brings you along. Okay, so this has got to be asked. I know James Bradwell would not allow me to not ask you this. What about invites for Canada? And then in that regards, invites worldwide, but that isn't a time frame yet. What about Canadian invites?
Yeah, thank you, and shout out to James Bradwell. So getting the caddy in Canada, getting it to support the way we did, was a multi-year undertaking. Getting the accounting right was difficult. It's going to happen. The way we're going to, when I look at the way invites are done now and the way that we can do them in the future, we want to make some significant changes for the better. What all those changes are, I have some in mind. Yeah, and we're going to do some things, but bear with us. Again, I love Canada. We're going to keep supporting it. And we're going to support in a big way, especially with the PGA Tour and beyond. They're going to come. I don't have a specific date yet, but they'll be there.
Okay, so let's get. I know you said you had to get out of here. We were looking at about a half an hour. I took you up for a good hour now, at least. Sure. Probably it seemed. But we get.
No. You got good. You're good.
All right. Well, then good. We'll keep going. One of the things that
I got like 10 more minutes actually.
Okay, 10 more minutes. Cool. One of the things that I'm curious on time frame, I don't know. I know about not exacts, but you just said about 6 to 8 weeks. It sounds like that's when you're going to start getting commercial going.
That's over time. That's in terms of reveals, kind of marketing over 6 to 8 weeks. We're going to have a lot coming out in early March. Here's where we are in timing. In a perfect world where we can get in video cards and other elements. Again, for those who've paid attention, and I know, Mouth, you are familiar with this stuff. It's crazy right now. It is wild, wild west from a tech standpoint. When you look at, the growth of Bitcoin coupled with the pandemic and everything else. And really, we are kind of prisoners to that. We're still targeting late spring for this, I think, is a reasonable time frame. Again, I don't want to dance around this. I just wish I had a better answer for it. But that's the point. And look, I think it's an appropriate time, too. When you look at where things are right now, I've been amazed still at the play of Golden Tee, the passion for Golden Tee with everything that's gone on in the past year. We have been pushing this thing hard. We're going to continue to push it hard, but we're still targeting late spring, and we will have a more definitive date, I would say, probably over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
And I mean, trust me, I don't think anybody in the community is actually worried about the date as much, because we all know, any reasonable person understands that supply chain issues are going to exist during this time.
It's crazy.
This is also part of the reason I think you guys picked the perfect happy medium of whether to get super powerful, the most powerful, most expensive available equipment to put in, which most people can't even get right now when they're trying to anyway. For you as a company, it would have been a bad idea. Question just came across. Estimated cost here.
Sure.
We're looking at.
So we're working through it. I don't.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing,
and it'll depend.
Go ahead. No, it's you. You know the answer.
No,
I don't.
No, it's I don't know the full answer because we're still specking out a few things that came in from the week that we had people like yourself in. I'll say this, and this is not meant to dance, but I hate giving out something that I don't have conclusive evidence to. When you look at a Golden Tee setup from the showpiece itself to potentially a stand or a mount or a TV, this is going to align with that. We're coming out of the heels of a pandemic, and we're going to launch into commercial establishments. We can't price ourselves out, obviously. So price along the way has always been important. Price is crucial. We will make sure that we have something that is within reason. Everything we've seen so far is good. You've got things like tariffs. You've got other elements that come into play that are things I never thought that we would have to, work within, but we are. So at the moment, I don't think it's going to be nearly anything close to outside of the realm of expectations, if that makes sense. Granted, everybody's expectations are a little bit different.
Well, I compare it comparatively towards what from what I'm understanding, then not going to be a dramatic change in cost compared to what people were paying for commercial or home equipment in the past.
It shouldn't. If it is, we haven't done a good enough job, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously those things all depend on pandemic. But with that same question in regard, can you give anybody an estimate on how many commitments we have for machine purchases for commercial vendors as we start? Do we have an idea on how many are going to come out around the country right away, or as soon as you guys have them available?
I have an idea that I think and look, a lot of the marketing, Mouth, I come from marketing, and for us to not be out there with a blowhorn talking about this every day, every week is actually somewhat painful. But strategically, what we've done is we're talking to people that are help move this product, that are going to support us and help get it in the hands of players. And it's actually been refreshing from a relationship standpoint and effective. The appetite has been, frankly, amazing for this product. And I don't say that I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it. The question is how we're going to meet that demand and how efficiently to build these things. And that's the part. So I guess I'll just say, people are really excited. We're really excited. We need to finish this thing. We need to deliver this thing in a way that I think we can. But yeah, the interest right now, again, you see, people are watching this, you see the trailers and you say like, well, what the hell? Give me more. And I get it, man. I can't wait to give you guys more. But we're doing it because we want to make sure the timelines are right, that the information is real, and most of it is there. We're getting really, really close. So bear with us in our teasers, which I think are pretty awesome, frankly, but I understand it. So bear with us. We're getting really close. But yeah, the interest right now, frankly, has been awesome. Now we have to build these things. We got to get the parts in and find a way to sell and make as many as we can.